Hello and welcome to SoBricks. I'm Adam and this is SoBricks. This is my channel for reviewing Lego sets and building them and other Lego related stuff. In this video I'm going to be taking a look at the Lego Nexo Aaron's X Bow set. This is set number 72005. It has 569 pieces and I paid $70 for this set. So this, like any other Lego Nexo set, is retired. This one's from 2017, I believe. Around that time, it would have retailed for $50 in 2017. Seems like it goes for, 50, 60, 70, 80-ish dollars sealed in 2025. So I bought this on a major online retailer where there are auctions and different things, and I was really excited about this. It looked really interesting. I'm actually not even sure what all the functions or like what can all be done with this, but it looks really interesting to me. The color scheme looked cool. I'd recently mentioned this set actually in a different Nexo set I was building. Maybe it was like the Ultimate Lance or something like that, and I think I mentioned this one, this Aaron's X Bow, and so I decided to pick it up, and I'm really looking forward to getting into this. There's some specialized pieces in here that I don't maybe see as much, and just overall some really cool looking things, so I'm really looking forward to it. So in this video I'm going to open this up, I'm going to put this together, and then I'm going to share my thoughts on it. So while I build, I'll speed the video up and then I'll slow it back down to review this set. So until then, enjoy. Okay, so while we look at the build for this Lego Nexo Aaron's X Bow set, I just wanted to say thanks for watching, and then remind you, if you like this video, click the thumbs up. If you like my other videos, click the subscribe button. If you want to support the channel in a different way, you can give money to the channel. You don't have to, but you could. Here on YouTube with membership, supers, and thanks. There's also a Patreon. There's a Buy Me a Coffee link as well, so maybe consider checking those things out, but also subscribing is really great too. And then I wanted to talk about the build. So we start out here with the minifigures. There's actually 3 minifigures in the first bag, and they all have kind of some buildable accessories, and then we start working on this sort of side build, sort of vehicle that I didn't know was a part of this. I actually thought that most of this stuff, from what I could see on the box when I bought this, was just part of the ship generally, but it is kind of its own distinct thing, its own kind of vehicle here, which is sort of like a bat cycle called like a Night Raider in this instance, which is really well done. Nothing too crazy there, and I do believe I'm pretty thorough in the full review. And then we can start working on the Expo ship as well. So we start with the cockpit pretty early on. We add sort of the landing gear there. A couple of stickers on this set, I think 5 in total, not too bad. Most of the decoration is all like brick built, plate built, tile built, sort of color blocking. We build the cockpit up, and then we build these side pods that add a ton of width to this stuff, the cockpit, as well as hidden sort of features there. And then we can start working on the body of the Expo. A lot of these Technic bricks here connected to kind of really give us a lot of structural integrity, which is needed for this. And then here's a little Technic building that I didn't know what this was for either, because I was pretty unaware of what this set all entailed. So this is actually really interesting and surprising to me, and worked really well. Even at this point when I was building, I wasn't quite sure what that was going to be. Kind of attach that whole sort of body and tail to the cockpit, lock that in place, add on some other landing gear, sort of legs, feet to the back, and finish off the tail. I think I had a color swap I needed to do there, and we can kind of finish putting on the top, and then we can continue to the next bag of pieces, which is going to have a lot of the kind of wing sections here. So again, there's a little bit of Technic in here, using big lift arms or beams, as well as some of those like T-beams or I-beams there. Technic half pins with the hollow stud all the way throughout there, kind of build the frame, the structure for the wings, and then we can tile that down, and then we do the sub-assemblies with all this brick built detail for the sort of wing coverings there. They're built almost the same, but not exactly. So building them one at a time, attaching those. And then the last kind of bit here is attaching the rotary blade, sort of helicopter type things that go on the end of either wing. So dual blade helicopter type thing. And there's some functionality here that I play with a little bit. Just want to make sure everything works okay. I really enjoyed this build and enjoyed talking about it. So thank you. And now on to my review for this set. Okay, so that is this LEGO Nexo Knights Aeron's Expo set. This is really great. I'm actually recording this, the review portion of this, quite some time after I recorded the build, so I've been percolating on this a little bit. I don't believe I still have the sticker sheet for this set, but I'll try to point those out as I can. But I really enjoyed this. I thought it was a great build. I think it's had some, I think, functions that I didn't anticipate. Maybe I should have known. I didn't do a ton of research into this before buying it. So that was a pleasant surprise, and also reminded me of some more modern sets, which was cool to see. And there's just a lot of really good stuff in here. So we will get right into it. And the first thing that we will look at is the minifigures, because you do get a couple minifigures in here. And the first one we will look at is Aeron, because this is their set. It's Aeron's Expo. So here we have Aaron as an accessory. They have a buildable sort of bolt shooter type thing here. So it's got the bar sort of handle. We use these, I think, green kind of ball pieces, or like toe. I don't know if these connectors go into like mixel joints. They might, and then they just have a bar coming off of it in that translucent that kind of goes in there. So it's a specialized piece they don't use a ton anymore. Instead of a spring-loaded shooter or a disc shooter, tile shooter, stud shooter, anything like that. We have this one here, which was interesting. There's another version of this that I think I showed, or maybe it's not this. There is also kind of a crossbow accessory that is used to shoot studs, but it's shaped more like a crossbow. This one ends up looking more like a crossbow because we build onto it. There's studs on either side. We have the orange piece, the translucent orange, and then the gold kind of pyramid piece, just the standard trigger mechanism back there for that. So that's Aeron's accessory here. And looking at the minifigure, this is awesome. So we have the Nexo Knight helmet here, and this character is kind of green, some orange, and some gold, I think. Helmet is two pieces, kind of, it is similar to like a racing helmet, or almost like this one almost feels more like the modern Lego City space helmets, where it has the part up top there. Not just like a bike helmet or a racing helmet, not just the most standard Lego sort of space helmet or anything like that. It's a little bit more involved. And then we have the visor here, which is sort of this armored grate, and if I can get it back on there, that's done in the translucent orange, has kind of the antenna over here, kind of comes around to the point, has some vents throughout there, so you can see through there. Looking at the figure beneath that, pretty good Lego face, all things considered. They have, their eyebrows are pronounced, maybe a scar or a notch shaved into their eyebrow, or that's just damage on there if that's not intentional. A little bit of facial hair, but that's really good. There is an alternate face, which has Aaron smiling, big smile there, so that's good. And it looks like the kind of notch in their eyebrow is present on both sides, so I think that is intentional. It's pretty small to see, so that's good. They have this really cool armor piece, which has these like pauldrons, these shoulder pieces that go up really high actually, and that's in that pearl gold. Has an opening at the front so we can see through the torso. On the back it has a couple of hollow studs there. I will take that off so we can see that. Overall it's a nice armor piece. It does allow them, like these big cutouts for the arms, allows them to move their arms a little bit more. And then looking at the torso itself, we have kind of the gold armor throughout here. And like I said, sort of greens and oranges throughout there. It has the wolf kind of emblem in the middle, similar to the shape of like well, not quite a Nexo Knight shield, but lots of good detailing up here, good layers of colors, good different changes in line density, nice shapes. I like that. We have the printed midsection there. We have printing on the legs, a bunch of printing, up at the top, in the middle, down onto the feet. So that's great. No printing on the arms, no printing on the side of the legs. The printing does go up, quite a ways on the legs, but nothing on the side. Back of the torso has this kind of armored, sort of Iron Man-esque type of, it's sort of sci-fi, medieval, sort of stuff. So a knight maybe, but with more advanced armor technology there. So that's very cool. A lot of that does get covered up by their armor that is on top of that. And I think this is a good figure. There's kind of other accessories that we can use with this figure, and I'll sort of go through those in a moment. But for now, that's Aaron, and I'll move on to the next character. This one is Robin, and this is not a character I'm super familiar with, but here we have Robin. They have a buildable kind of hammer here, just with that gold bar, gold kind of hilt with the double-sided thing up there, some of the orange studs and the black tiles. So that's similar to maybe Cole looking kind of thing from Ninjago. This one has a very classic sort of armor helmet here. It's sort of that gunmetal gray, slightly polished, so we can take that off. Looking at the head beneath there, they have kind of a visor printed on over their eyes, as well as some comm tech over here, which is very cool, kind of a smirk on their face. They do have an alternate face, which is them frowning, and then it doesn't have, or I don't know what else. It seems like the corners of their mouth are turned down. It also doesn't have the earpiece, the microphone, or the visor on there. So that's cool. They have the same armor piece, and inside here we can actually see their emblem in there is a little bit different. It kind of looks like an X, but up close it looks like a couple of wrenches that are crossing each other. So maybe Robin is more of a sort of mechanic type character. Their armor is not nearly as detailed, but we still get some of that metallic silver in there. I like the little kind of blue behind there. There's kind of some different shades of silver, which is nice to see. I like how that was done. No printing on the midsection, no printing on the legs, no printing on the arms. Back of the torso, pretty good back of the torso there, kind of that same armor thing. There's some maybe more detail on the back of this than the front, or I guess it's hard to say, but I really like the back of this. I think the front of this is pretty good as well. So good to get Robin here, just a different character there, and I can get them back together again. Kind of this combination of technologically advanced medieval kind of theme, which I really appreciate. The next one I want to show is the Cyber Biter. That is this one here. This is not a full minifigure, but it sort of counts. It's definitely a character. They have kind of another sort of bolt shooter accessory here. This one's good. It's made with the same kind of base piece. Uses these pieces that I don't know what they're called or what they're initially used for. These have been used in Speed Champions at various times. In I know I've seen them. I don't know if I've seen them in black, but I've seen them in like translucent red and different stuff here. They're kind of in that yellow or lime green. I'm not really sure. That kind of gives it that more of like a bow sort of look. Same triggering mechanism. The bolt should be a different color. I think is this one green or is this one orange? I think I don't know, or maybe they're both green right now, but I think maybe that's an error on my part. So interesting to see that. And this is kind of this little robot character, which I've covered one of these before in a different set. I can't remember which one it was, but these were sort of companions. Got the helmet piece here, kind of an older sort of knight's helmet. Again, kind of that gunmetal gray. This one's pretty glossy, glossier than the other one. Different shape. Has kind of a robot head here on the pearl silver kind of minifigure head printing for the eyes, kind of the mouth, some different rivets, eyebrows, but it all feels very mechanical. Do have an alternate face where they're baring their teeth a little bit more, but they still are metallic. Building this is really interesting. The body piece is kind of unique. It has a couple of bar elements for the arms, bar elements for the legs that we can clip on, kind of these standard, or I think standard, skeleton legs, this time in black. With the arms here using these little clip pieces, we can kind of position those, we can move the legs, and then these shoulder pieces that kind of look like armor there, those are also kind of forming the elbow, or the, so that this can have a full sort of shape. And these are sort of a rubberized kind of softer plastic here, which is a little bit different. That's a unique piece. I think I've only really seen in Nexo Knight sets where one of these characters might be included. So this one is Cyberbiter, kind of a miniature, maybe automaton or something like that, and they have their own little accessory, which is great. I'm thinking this one's maybe part of the whoever is in opposition to the Nexo Knights there. And then the last one we have is, again, I think maybe what the Nexo Knights are fighting against. And this one's Van Biter number 307. So this is really cool. Lot to look at here. Pretty intricate minifigure and minifigure accessories. We got the spear here. That's just a classic Lego spear kind of piece. And then they have all of this wing kind of stuff going on behind it. I'm actually going to take that off so we can look at the rest of this. Helmet is really quite cool. It's not something I've seen a ton. It kind of has like a visor up here. It's wide. I think this has like a hexagonal look to it, but that hole in there, I want to say, is just a mini, or like a bar or peg beam type piece, so we could like put accessories in there. I want to say those are the same size. You can see kind of down here it's shaped nice, kind of pointed there. This is just a really interesting helmet design that I haven't seen a ton, so cool to get that. Beneath that we have the Van Biter number 307 on here. It seems like they're kind of a vampire type character. They have a very pale complexion, white minifigure head, kind of red glowing eyes, got some fangs going on there. They also have this armor piece, which is pretty unique. It has a couple studs on the back. They have this kind of collar that goes up really high, and we have the kind of pauldron shoulder elements there, which share a similar sort of geometry to the helmet. So I think it looks really good together. Looking at the back here, I feel like the collar of the armor goes up and meets up with the helmet in a nice way. This character also does have an alternate face, which is sort of a like robot vampire type thing underneath there. So it's either a mask, or maybe if this side was a mask and was removed, and we would reveal that they are sort of a cyborg, or a droid of some kind, or a robot of some kind, and this is what they look like underneath there. I don't know which one is like the canon of the story for this character, but that's really cool. I like how different that is, but it still kind of keeps that vampire look, but brings in sort of this medieval folk kind of Transylvanian inspired stuff to the kind of futuristic sci-fi kind of thing there. So I really like that. Looking at the torso itself, so it looks like they have some kind of stuff up around the collar area. Then their chest and area is mostly bare, I think. It's kind of that white, have some musculature there, but we do see some like veins. Those veins are, I think, that green color or maybe yellow, but they also look like circuitry going on there, which is very neat. Then the kind of abdominal portion is covered with sort of I think it's just the pants or whatever they are wearing there, but that goes up onto the minifigure torso. There is printing on the midsection, printing on the legs, all the way down, up at the top, in the middle, down onto the feet, which is great. No printing on the arms. Back of the torso kind of has these tubes running through it, and again, some of that circuitry going on in there, which is very, very nice to see. So I think this is a great minifigure, really detailed. I get that it may be a villain type character, but I think this is awesome looking, so that is cool to see. Really detailed, like the kind of how unique the helmet is, at least to me, as well as the armor. And then besides that, they have this sort of techno futuristic medieval glider wing thing. So if they are sort of vampire-esque, maybe this is sort of like a bat, sort of a wing thing here that is buildable. It also reminds me maybe of what is it, like Hawkman, or the Vulture from Spider-Man, something like that. So we build these wings. They connect on the back to the armor piece. Do have a sticker here that has kind of a power button and some of that same green sort of circuitry looking stuff. And then it just connects to 2 studs to the back. We put this on there. We have a couple of those translucent studs on the back. Then we build out each wing that get clipped on here. So it has one of those 1x2s with the bar element coming off both sides. So these are their own little sub assembly here. And these are great. They use these nice curved corner plates there, a little bit of tiling, they clip on the end. Another use of that same piece that was on Cyberbiter's sort of accessory on the end, which gives it a little extra, maybe lights on the end, but a little extra something there, a little more shaping to the wings. Interesting, it uses the kind of mixel joint or ball joint piece on the bottom there, which I actually think is kind of fine. And then we build up these slopes back here, which do have another kind of stud shooter there in black, and then we put this slope on that, and there's one on each side, as well as these bolts here. We have the discs inside there, maybe for some propulsion or some lights or lots of different stuff. So this could be like gliding around this way, it could be hovering, it could be played with in a lot of different ways. For the projectiles for this one, this is cool. I don't see this a ton, but it is these kind of spiderling, almost like Spider-Man drone type pieces that have a spot for a stud. We put one of these green translucent studs on there, and then it kind of has that spiderling thing. So it's a little bit different. I think they've used those in Spider-Man sets at various times, and cool to get them on here. They look neat even when they're on there. They work well when they're sort of fired away. And spiders and maybe vampires don't really go together, but maybe they both have fangs, and maybe I don't know. I'm fine with that being the case. Maybe this is supposed to be more spider-like than I'm giving it credit for. We also do get an extra one of those. So if you have 2 loaded up in here, there's another one. I think for the bolts for these minifigures, you should get an extra of both an orange one and a green one. I seems like I maybe have green in both of them and then have a green one there. That's probably just my error. I probably have the extra orange one somewhere and somehow got an extra green one thrown in here just in the time between building this and recording this. I'll have to look into that. So that's really, really cool. So those are all the figures, the 4 figures there. One of the extra accessories you get in Nexo sets are the Nexo kind of shield powers, and the different characters can wield these as accessories as well. So the first one here is the Manic Pumpkin, which these could be scanned into the Nexo Powers app, Murloc 2.0 app, when it was still live. I don't think it is anymore. So this is a red translucent tile with the printing there, which has kind of a zooming, almost looks like a Green Goblin sort of pumpkin bomb throwable thing, and it's on that gold kind of Nexonite shield piece with the studs in the back, studs up here, and a place for minifigures to hold that. So I can give this one, for example, to Aaron for now, and they can have that there. These can all be kind of swapped out. The other one is Goosebumps, which is funny because we have kind of a goose here, so I don't know what the effect of Goosebumps is in terms of its battle capacity or anything like that, but this one's on a translucent, maybe just clear sort of Nexonite shield, and then has the printing on there. Printing quality is really good for both of these. The colors are good, the lines are defined and crisp, so I really like that. And I'm guessing kind of the notches on the side of all of these, and maybe I never noticed this before, but that's what is scannable. So, you know, cool, good little design there. It also feels right. There is another Nexonite power shield here. It's actually on the Expo, and I'll just show that right away. This is the Murloc power, the hammer of Murloc. So this one's cool. It's on gold, that sort of, I think is this drum lacquered gold instead of pearl gold? I want to say that it is, but so that's nice. Has a hammer there and a nice different shape, good use of colors, so that goes kind of on here. That tile could be easily swapped out to any of these kind of shield things to be able to swap those around. And then besides the minifigures and everything, we have this whole set, and this is an Expo. It's sort of a plane or helicopter type set, a flying vehicle, but it's got a couple different things going on in it. I'm not sure how to go about this, because I believe when you are building this, I want to say that first you build the kind of this other element here. So I'm just going to quickly go over that before we move on. We have this motorcycle here, which is part of the set, kind of hidden. I didn't totally know that, and this is great. I think it's called Robin's Night Raider, and this is really cool as well. So we start off just here with a 2x6. We sort of build off of that with some brackets, some studs on the side stuff, build it out to get some width. The colors feel right, kind of that dark blue, a little bit of gold, some black in there. The axles are done with some Technic pieces, so you can see the Technic pieces through here. The rim in there is Technic. These are the hard plastic kind of barrel wheels or wide wheels there. Almost looks like a Batman bat cycle from a certain generation, which is cool to see. The wheels spin really well. They're wide enough, and this is generally pretty low to the ground. There's actually not that much clearance between like these bars being clipped on here and the where the wheels are, so even to like try to tip this over is not super easy. You'd have to overcome like the whole side of that, and that takes a little bit. So it's pretty stable, I want to say. Design works really good. We kind of have the back coming off here. There is some symmetry, but this angle's a little bit different. You can see a clip back there. I'll get to that in a moment. I think, yeah, the clips down here work with those trans orange bar elements front up there. There is a spot for a minifigure. There is also a steering yoke or handlebars there. A couple stud shooters here as well. These ones have the orange translucent studs in them, so there's one on either side. You get a couple extra of those. Has a Nexonite shield here. That one's just a trans orange one, no printing or anything like that. It's on a hinge plate to kind of give it that angle, and I think this is really quite cool. So for Robin, for example, we can kind of have them in the cockpit of this and lean them back a little bit. We can give them the handlebar, and maybe they want their hammer to be stored back here, I always appreciate when they give us spots for minifigures to store their accessories when they are in a vehicle, and in this case they made sure to cover that. So I think this is really cool, and that's not even all of like what can be done here. So I'll have to get into the main sort of Expo ship to kind of show what the complete capabilities are. After you build this, you start working on the cockpit, and the cockpit of the Expo is actually way denser than I thought it would be. There's kind of a lot going on. A lot of the weight of this is up here, and actually like the visual kind of weight of this, or the volume of this, is pretty light. It's almost kind of empty at the back, even though that takes up sort of the most area horizontally and stuff like that, or going out either direction here. And so the cockpit is really interesting. You can see it's built out really thick. Again, we do have some studs on the side used in there, some nice kind of faceted pieces, more Nexonite shields used here. I like the color blocking on this a lot, how these colors transition. Use this great sort of trans orange cockpit sort of canopy piece there, and I just spoiled one of the surprises, and that has a sticker on it. I'm trying to think, I don't think there were any stickers on this. There was the one on the back of here. Let me see. So this kind of heads up display or whatever there is an interesting shape sticker. It is clear backed. We can open this up. Inside we have a control panel here that is stickers as well, and then I'm noticing maybe on Aaron's thing it's a fox instead of a wolf, because this kind of has a little writing on it on that sticker that says fox. There is room in here for a minifigure to sit, so I think that's nice. Also up at the front we do have landing gear up here, as well as some inverted tiles underneath there. On either side of the cockpit, if you're looking at it head on, we kind of have these bolt areas here with the gold sort of spire type piece, as well as the orange translucent cones, and that's maybe where some munitions would be stored. So you've maybe already kind of seen that, but here with I think this is green, right? But maybe it's yellow, but I think it's a green color. Those are actually doors, like doors for a vehicle, and they can be opened up. So they're used on the side there in a little bit of a cool technique, which when we open those up, there's actually some spring-loaded shooters behind there, and those can then be fired off from the back of the cockpit area. Another thing I really like is when they hide sort of the functionality for these things a little bit. Some of the like Lego Batman movie sets did that really, really good. And like I think the Arctic, the the Penguin set had his Arctic roller or whatever, had kind of a hidden area where it would do some. I think the Joker one had some stuff that could like pop out the back. The Riddler one maybe didn't hide it as much. I can't remember. It's been a while. But anyway, you might not notice those, but we have these doors here that can, open up. We can see where you would activate those. The back of the bolts stick through there. That's the case with a lot of them. I would like if they could be covered up, but I don't know if that would have worked for this build specifically. And these are in there pretty good. So if you, I thought, I wanted to say, actuating these, probably they're not going to fly out of there when the doors are closed, so the doors would need to be opened before, but maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe the force of those bolts and those springs in there are enough to open the doors. It looks like one's opening a little bit easier than the other, and that could just be a slight difference in how tightly things are put together. But either way, I do like that the doors are there. I like that it conceals them a little bit. It almost seems like another sort of, like hidden firepower, or another sort of feature that could be used in play, like opening these up and revealing something that maybe people didn't anticipate here. In this instance, Van Biter. Besides that, there's not a ton of room up in the cockpit. I think you can really only fit one figure in there, maybe two, but it's going to be tough with their armor and everything. So I don't know if realistically you can get both Robin and Aaron in there. I'll kind of set Aaron down in here with their helmet on and their armor on and see what that looks like. Get it something like that. Close this up. Looks really great. There's not a ton of gapping here. Like if you look from the bottom, this isn't all closed up under there, a little bit around the side, but it gets covered up by that area there. But there is a gap. It's not like totally flush, but I think they did a good job trying to hide the angle. Same with the front, like underneath here, there's a little bit of gapping, but not a big deal. You can get them in there with their armor. You can see through that a bit, which is very cool. So I think that looks great. And then besides that, we sort of build out the rest of this ship, and I'm not sure what to call this. Is it a helicopter or similar to a copter in some way, or is it kind of a plane? It feels like a little bit of both, but when we're building this, there's a good amount of Technic that goes into this. So the whole kind of tail piece, you can see we use these Technic beams kind of all the way through there, and that is creating a lot of the structural integrity. Then there's some really interesting Technic stuff going on in the middle. We sort of build that out. There's a little bit of studs on the side, not a ton, a good amount of just Technic stuff in here, pins, beams, bushings, different things. The leg sections kind of for the back landing gear are interesting, just using, some bricks and Technic pins, axles kind of going through there. A couple other stickers on here for the landing gear, again with the fox or wolf, but I think fox now emblem on it. Same on the other side. So a couple stickers, not a ton overall on this, which was really, really nice. We build that back. There's some brackets used back here. Also some, like, it tapers down. A lot of jumpers used in there. Really cool piece at the end. This almost feels like a minifigure accessory or a mech accessory piece, almost like a blade of some kind that could be used in Bionicle, or maybe, like I say, in a mech, or in Nexo Knights. Maybe it could be used in Ninjago. Maybe it can be used in lots of different stuff. So that's interesting in the trans orange. Great to get that piece. Little of some gold accents in there. And then we build out the wings, or these sort of sections here. These are interesting. It's pretty much symmetrical right to left, but also across. So when you build this section here, it's the same as this section here. When you build this section here, it's the same as this one. They're just flipped, and that is what makes up kind of a lot of the visual weight of this. These are attached in such a way that they have some movement here. If we move them up there, they have some movement at the tip of this as well, so you can kind of see that. So you could have it sort of at an angle. You could have them both sort of pushed up to the front, have them both kind of pushed down to the back. That makes this look almost perpendicular to the body, and these sort of at an angle. Or you can kind of make the front look close to perpendicular, or maybe over past that a little bit. I think I try to just keep it in the middle of those, so that these are like the same length out here where those beams meet. Nice tiling up. Oh, they're not identical, my mistake. So we have the extra kind of bracket in here, the extra kind of curve there, and the sort of orange translucent vented pieces on the back side. So not 100% identical. They just look very similar at a quick glance, but there are some key differences. My mistake. And then, yeah, we can see a little bit of the Technic up here, but that's not a big concern to me. This ship as well has some clips. So back here, we have some of these gold clips kind of hanging off, and those could be used to store accessories. We could, for example, load up some of these Nexo Knight shield things back there. We could put like Aaron's crossbow accessory in one of these, I think, or we could put them, there are other places we can put this if we needed to. I want to say the instructions have an example of where we could put that. So let me check here if the instructions show like where we might store some accessories a little bit more. And oh yeah, interesting. Okay, so in the instructions, they just have this kind of being stored over here, which maybe gives you kind of just put that in one of these hollow stud half pin type pieces, and that can hold on to this temporarily, and maybe that could be used as a little extra bit of firepower there. Also a place for the accessory to be stored. I do like that they kind of considered that. That's sort of an interesting place to put it, but it is there per the instructions, so that is intended, at least on some level. I appreciate the consideration there. I appreciate that it's included in the instructions, so I'm not like trying to makeshift find my own way to do that. So that's considered there, which is very great. And then this has some other really cool functions. So one of the things this reminded me of, I haven't built the Ornithopter from Dune yet. I'm really looking forward to building that. I think this has some similarities there. It's stable to hold by the back of this. It could also be held up by the front, but actually this feels really fine. So just holding it from the rear, kind of in the middle of the center of gravity, but because we have all those Technic beams going through here, or those Technic bricks rather, and beams, it feels pretty sturdy there, and the weight's distributed really nicely. And we have this, I've sort of avoided talking about this, that is a spring sort of joint piece in there, or one of those like suspension or like a shock kind of absorber thing. They use this in different sets. Nice color there, doesn't feel too off to me, and that is what gives this one of the cooler functions. I believe the new like Renegade Blacktron cruiser thing, or whatever that new set was that came out, that was sort of a follow-up to the Galaxy Explorer redo, I'm pretty sure that one had a similar mechanism to this. So here we can see we got like interesting Technic pieces going all different ways, some actually really cool building in there, and that is for the additional functionality of operating this like a drop ship. So what can happen is it can pick up this Knight Raider motorcycle. If I drop this on there, Robin is in there right now, but I basically put that over the top. It sort of auto aligns itself and gets that in there and is kind of covered up beneath those wings. Then when it's on the ground, the wheels are still touching the surface, as well as the skis and the landing gear for the Expo ship itself. To release it, we essentially just push this button here, which actuates this, which then separates out those arms, so we can kind of push it like that. In that instance, it's sort of dropped on its side, but if you're lower to the ground, you can maybe drop it, drive away, no big deal, and fly the Expo off. When I say it sort of auto aligns, it's actually a really nice technique. So the mechanism to open this, when you push this mechanism forward, it moves this whole back area here. We do have these mixel joint ball pieces, and what is done is it essentially lines up just kind of, you can eyeball it where it's going to be about, and then when it gets to the sides of the Night Raider, we have these slopes here. So it lines up with like these tiles. It's got to go between there. We kind of have this descending sort of angle where we know we're kind of getting it in line. If you're too far forward or too far to the back of this, or to the left or right, it's just not gonna, like, you're not really gonna get anywhere. But once you like find that an alignment, it's actually really kind of simple. And then those slope pieces on the side of the vehicle push the arm out of the way, and then it gets locked between, on both sides, kind of these stud pieces here, those slopes, and then kind of right above these clip pieces. Pretty sturdy connection. It's actually not moving around much at all, even when I'm sort of handling this here, and we can drop that out. And I think it's really nice how easy it is to pick this up. I thought it was really satisfying, the sound, the feel of it, how it could be done sort of with one hand, at least for me. Like holding that, flying this away felt like really intuitive play, and you know, just a great little kind of combo vehicle here. You can have Robin in there while you're doing that, so you don't have to take them out. You can have their accessory there while you're doing that. You can have these stud shooters loaded up while you're doing that without fear of like those interacting with it, which makes for really seamless play patterns, because this can be, you know, dropped and then picked back up without removing the minifigure, without sort of like dealing with any of that stuff. So it just feels like you can just go back and forth in a really nice way, and if you get the hang of it, you can kind of do it. You know, you don't need all the accessories on here. If we took Robin out of here and took their accessory off of there, it's still going to pick this up and put this down. It feels like the build of this, how symmetrical it is, how balanced it is like intentional there. And I think, you know, you can have it facing the other way as well. So if you want the front kind of more to the right or to the left, you can spin that around and have it go either way and just work fine. And that whole mechanism under there is kind of a hidden thing. I mean, when building this, I didn't know that that was a possibility. I like that we can kind of see through here a little bit. It does add some extra bulk. If this was like flying at, you know, head on, these just look like extra engines or something to me. So even from like this angle, that looks really cool. That could also be extra sort of firepower or something like that. So it doesn't even really like ruin the look of this in any way. Even from the side, I don't think it's very bad. From the back, I think it makes sense. So it like meshes in there really well. The colors are consistent, which is cool. So I just think that's a real great showing of like what Lego designers can do. I was really impressed by this. I didn't know that was part of this set when I bought this, when I placed a bid on it and had this delivered to me. I actually just thought, because I didn't see like the back of the box or anything, I thought that was just part of the expo there, and it feels pretty seamless, but it's also its own thing. The other thing that I forgot to cover are actually the kind of rotary elements out on the wings. So these can be spun pretty easily. The build for those is unique. We have a couple different pieces. So you get 6 of these kind of big, almost again, sort of accessory like the tail piece that could maybe be a big blade or sword for Nexo Knights mechs or bigger characters, or, you know, ultimate versions of characters, or their mech suit, or Ninjago or Chima or something like that. I feel like they could do that. So again, we get these big translucent orange kind of axe head pieces, which is really cool. And you get 6 of those. So you have 3 on each kind of wing. They're all connected to an interesting kind of triangular plate piece here. We have a kind of Technic bit going between them. We add this onto the bottom there with a Technic pin, and then there's an axle going through there. We have the gear here up at the top that could be used to spin it. We also have this kind of conical brick up there. That's a 2x2 round brick that kind of angles up towards a single hollow stud. It's easy to kind of get those going as well. They spin pretty good, you know, because of they're on here in such a way there's going to be some friction just due to gravity, but I think they spin pretty good. They're actually not very loud, which I like. There's a little bit of sound, but I think that feels really, really nice, so that's cool as well. Those could also be spinning sort of, you know, blade, flame, whatever on the outside because of that wonderful translucent orange there. And that's kind of everything that is in this. It's sort of hit all the marks for me. It's got some features that I didn't know about. It's got, you know, spaces for accessories to be stored. It's got some big pieces, unique pieces. The build was really fun. It went in some different directions that I didn't expect it to. And I think it's got, you know, a set of great minifigures. I think Robin is maybe one of the weaker ones. The Cyber Biter is, you know, not quite a full minifigure, but the Van Biter number 307 and Aaron themselves are really, really good. So I like that a lot. While I was talking about the accessories, I should note we do get an extra of the orange translucent bolt. So there's one loaded in each side of this. You do get another one. You get extras of the ones on the Night Raider, the motorcycle. You get an extra of the one for the spider kind of thing there, and same for the bolt for the kind of miniature bolts with the or tow bars or whatever those are called. You get an extra of those for each minifigure as well, which is nice. I always appreciate that. A couple great printed pieces in here as well. Not a ton of stickers. As far as I am counting, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stickers in this set. The rest of it's all like really nice brick built detail for the color blocking and everything. And then, you know, the printed shields there. And I think you kind of get two vehicles in one in a great way. So I don't know, for whatever reason, holding it like this and this kind of button, I think the Ornithopter from Dune has a function like that where it flaps the wings a little bit. And then I thought they just did another set, maybe that sort of Blacktron set that has a similar sort of drop ship function that is like really, really easy like this. And I haven't built either one of those, but this was like surprisingly to me kind of had elements of both, at least as far as I am remembering from like Jang reviews of those sets. So this was really, really fun, and I like it a lot. I'll show the extra pieces. Like I say, I may have some weird off extra pieces in here just because it's been so long, but I think for the most part I have them. The main one is I think I'm missing an orange one of this, but I'll just have to find that later. The rest of the stuff, you get an extra of like the Cyber Biter's leg and arm there, some Technic pieces, gold bar pieces, the Spire pieces. You actually get 2 extras of these pieces, which are used for both the like crossbow accessory as well as the wing accessory there. The stud shooter, trigger, Technic 1x1s, tiles, studs, all of that good stuff. And this set is 569 pieces, 3 minifigures, 3.5 or 4 minifigures. And I paid $70 for this. I actually double checked. I think I paid like slightly under that. Maybe it was like $68 or something like that, but just 70 is what I said at the beginning of the video. I want to say this retailed for $50 or $60. I am not 100% on that. I maybe mentioned it at the beginning, of the video. Let's see if I can find out some historical information. Okay. Oh, wow. Yeah, it retailed for $50 in 2018. So this is Nexo Season 5, 2018. $50 for this set. I paid $70. I think $50 for this is a really good deal, considering the amount of stuff here: big pieces, small pieces, specialized pieces, price per piece, all that considered, plus the minifigures here, printed stuff in here. I think $50 for this is pretty great. You know, $50 of 2018 money in 2025 might be close to $70 or $60. I'm not really sure in those 7 years since this has been sort of off the shelves and retired. I don't know exactly what the math works out to be, but it is retired, and this was sealed, so I did pay more than the MSRP. I struggle to believe that even though this doesn't have IP attached to it, intellectual property or any other sort of thing that LEGO has to license out, I still struggle to think that LEGO would put out a set like this with this much stuff, this much figures. The figures have accessories that are built out, and then we have like a really sizable ship here, as well as a super cool Knight Raider motorcycle in here. I do not think that they would put this at $50 in 2025. I want to say it probably wouldn't be outrageous to see this be $70 or $80 in 2025 just for what's in the box already. So the fact that this was $50 in the US, 60 euro, 50 British pound back 7 years ago is pretty good. I would think that's a great deal. Like I said, I paid $70 for this. I'm perfectly happy with that. It feels like the money, I have to take into consideration that it was retired and all of that stuff, like I normally do, but also just the amount of stuff here, the amount of play, the minifigures. Like, there's just a lot here that maybe 569 pieces doesn't really convey, but this is like a super sizable thing, and it's very, very cool, very, very fun, lots of stuff. So $70 feels meaningful to me. If I really had to break it down, if each minifigure is 5 or this is 10 because of the extra stuff, and the shields might cost something, this is maybe a $10 thing. I don't know what this is, but when I'm combining that all together, I think I can reasonably get to about $70, which is what I paid. I feel fine about that. I think that was a fair deal. It seems like Brickset has this listed at new at roughly $60. That links to Bricklink. If I look at, it looks like they're for new, complete, in a box. Looks like the cheapest one in the US is maybe $70, which is about what I paid. There's some ones in other areas that are not the US that are maybe a little bit less. But yeah, I mean, I feel like, paid market value, got good value out of this. Like I say, it wouldn't surprise me if LEGO put something like this out with the same amount of pieces and figures and whatever else, and maybe charging more than what I paid for it. So nice to see that. I think I got a great value. This is a really good set. I enjoyed this a lot. Nexo is impressive to me for some of these things, and I hopefully I can look at even more of them. So very grateful I was able to get one of these and build this. So very, very nice. I like it. If you like this video, please click the thumbs up and give it a like. If you like my other videos, click the subscribe button down below so you can stay up to date on all the quality Lego videos I'll be doing here in the future, including more Lego Nexo nights, and then tons of other sets from all different themes. Probably that Dune Ornithopter set, maybe that Blacktron Redux set, and then tons of other Lego sets from all different themes, all different shape, size, price point, piece count, tons of different stuff. So subscribe so you don't miss any of my upcoming Lego videos. If you're not subscribed, maybe consider doing it. It helps me a lot, means a lot to me. We are on the road to 2,000 subscribers. It'd be incredible to get there, so I appreciate all the help. Subscribing is free, and it is very, very nice. So thank you very much. And then if you wanted to support the channel in a different way, you could give money to the channel, financially support the channel. You can do that with membership, supers, and thanks on YouTube. There's a Patreon. It's linked in the video description and on my channel page. There's a Buy Me a Coffee link. There will also be some affiliate links. There probably won't be one to buy this set just because it's retired, but I'll look around and see. But I'm not 100% sure on how the affiliate links work. I want to say you might be able to click the link, and if that's a product you're not trying to buy, you might be able to search for something and then I might still get it. I don't really know, but if it does work that way, that helps too. Buy something for yourself with your own money, something you were going to buy anyway, and I might get a fraction of a percent or something of that. So maybe consider checking that out. Every little bit helps, and I do appreciate it. And with all of that said, until next time, thanks. Bye.